Hi, this is Jason from Gardenscape Designs. Welcome to another episode of My Garden, My Home. Welcome to our regional, local, and international viewers. Today, we are at a beautiful garden in New Grant. Come with us and take a look.
Hi guys, this is Daniel from Gardenscape Designs. Good day. Today we're going to start our videos a bit different. Now I've been getting some folks who's asking exactly what a bromeliad are. Those who are not familiar with these particular plants. These are tropical beauties, which are usually found in rainforests. The roots are usually used to anchor into trees and they would usually feed through the cup. Now these particular plants can be readapted to pots, just like your regular ornamental plants, where the roots would now be able to absorb nutrients through the roots and also water, as well as the cup. Now, some of these particular plants are crossbred. So you have hybridizers, very popular hybridizers who would actually crossbreed these plants and interpollinate in order to actually create hybrids. They would even do it in labs as well. Persons who are known to gather these plants and purchase these plants are usually collectors. These plants are to the top of the food chain when it comes to tropical plants. So today we are in New Grant and the sun is blistering hot and we're going to do a review on a bromeliad garden here. Let's begin. So we are looking at a 20 by 20 foot space, right? Where it is the owner has quite a couple of plants. I could probably say close to 100 plants in this small area. But what she actually does, she tries to maximize the space with the plants in the way in which she actually layer the plants. So as we go through, we will look at how it is she would actually place the plants, and we'll look at some of the actual species of some of these plants and comment on them. This one is head turner, a brilliant Ray Kuhlman hybrid. This particular plant usually grows to about 60 centimeters. It's a full sun plant which gets a lot of pink on the outside here. It's variegated with the green margins. This is a plant, I believe, from Asia, Tampa Red. This is also another full sun plant. This particular area and shed is underneath 50% shade cloth, right? 50% shade cloth. This particular plant could take direct sun on the leaves. It's protected right now, but it could take direct sun on the leaves and it will get pretty much red. Look at the way in which these plants are in these lovely pots. They create a very lovely focal point while entering into this area. The lovely chango. Again and again, you're going to see this particular plant coming up. This is a full sun plant that could take a lot of sun. It's a Lisa Vinzan plant. This is almost full size, which is 70 centimeters. A very lovely plant. Fired up. Look at the pots. Now, this particular plant here is the Brina Surprise. Now, with this Acmea, you see that you have a tall plant coming up in the center, but look, you have these small pups. Now, some of these particular plants like the Hohenbergias, the Acmeas, sometimes even the Neos, some people would actually use the pups that come out from the plants as fillers. So people like to see the pups stuck all around the plants and it will give it a nice effect here. Pot matches this brown, so I find that this is a very excellent and perfect fit. The lovely Johannes de Rolf, a 3 foot wide monster. This particular plant is actually flowering right now, so expect to get some pups in it. These plants could take every single ray of sun that you actually drop at it, once it is that you acclimatize it well. Petra. This is a commercial plant as well. It's a full sun plant and it's a favorite amongst even the collectors as well. It has a lovely red and pinkish blush to it, which add a lot of savor to your garden. Tiger. This is the regular Neo tiger. So there's the Catcharodon tiger and the Neo tiger. The Catcharodon tiger would usually be a bit, it's a huge grower as well, but it's usually a bit more compact. You'll get more size out of the regular Neo tiger. Let's take a look at some of these collector pieces on this side. This one is Captain Moxley, a 2011 release from Chester Skotak. This gets to usually about 50 centimeters wide. This plant is still small, so it needs some more growing to do. This is Contagious, another lovely Skotak piece. This Skotak piece could take full sun. It has a lot of albo within the leaves, but it's still a very nice plant. Usually, sometimes you would find that take a look at this, the albo margination on this, a bit thin. This one is a bit thick, but it's still a very good plant. Usually the albo marginated plants are more stable plants. They're a bit more stable than the variegated plants. Another lovely piece, 2021 release, Pinktastic. Pinktastic gets to 60 centimeters wide, but it needs some more sun. Let's just take a look at this particular area here. How the plants are staggered, low, going up to high. So even in this particular area where it is you have quite a lot of plants, you could see all of the plants properly. Now, another thing, these particular plants are not rammed close to each other. Sometimes when it is the plants are rammed close to each other, there's not enough air circulation moving through the bromeliads. The bromeliads need air circulation in order to prevent fungus, in order to prevent any disease, and even pests. When it is these are crammed close together, sometimes you would find pests would live under the leaves, they would bite them, they would suck from them. And sometimes they don't look as healthy as they are actually right now when it is they are that close. Another lovely plant, Better Times. With the 50% light, it has a very lovely color here, but it could get a bit stronger once exposed to more sunlight. Another Ray Kuhlman masterpiece, Big Papa. This one has some size again to get. Take a look at this. Look how short these leaves are. So I could tell that this particular plant is getting a little fertilizer. The leaves at the bottom is short and these are top. Now the plant is actually opening out to get its true full potential. Let's take a look at how big this plant is. This one is 2 feet wide. It could get about a foot wider, but it's actually growing into what it should become. Slow release fertilizer like Multicoat, Osmocoat, 13-13-13. That would be very fine for most of these particular bromeliads. Another Skotak piece, Lucifer. This one gets to 2 feet wide. Now I remember when this plant was purchased, it was quite small, but with patience, with love, you see exactly what it is you could actually get out of these plants. Sometimes you would find in Lucifer, the leaves would be a little bit broader. This is a 2011 piece, one of the best pieces that Chester actually created. Bad Boy brand, another Ray Kuhlman hybrid. This one has very thick, broad leaves, about 7 centimeters wide. It's a full sun plant. This plant is small, but it could get much bigger. This is a plant that you have seen in some former videos. This one is almost 2 feet wide. Take a look at these other lovely plants in this area. Lou Wilson Candy Apple, another full sun plant. Now, where we are standing here, where these plants are here, the sun is on it's coming from the east, from on the eastern side. It's not getting much after 12, it's not getting much direct light because of the shade house, because of the 50% shade cloth. So a lot of the lighting in this area is very well balanced, and some of these plants actually have their meeting their true color potential and true color requirements. This is a lovely Hohenberger piece. The name of this one is Leopoldo Horsti. Now there are several Leopoldo Horstis that you would actually find. You would find the Japan clone, you would find the Hawaiian clone, you would find the dark clone, and even some more. So there's a lot of different clones and different species of this particular plant, which is the Leopoldo Horsti. A lovely Hohenberger, one that a collector must have, I think. This is one of the most popular ones. This one could take a little bit more sun. It will get a little bit more purple underneath the leaves. Not as purple as the dark clone, but it gets a little bit more purple. Let's take a look at some of these other plants in this area here. We have Thigh Red. Thigh Red is a full sun plant with variegation. This one is the albo marginating. You can see the slight albo which is on the leaf. Or sometimes you would find this light area which would be in the middle of the plant. That is the variegated version of the plant. This one could take much more sun though. White Walker. Another lovely Julia. This is a Bullis plant. Guys, go out and get your Julia. I have one personally. It may not be a collector, but it is an astonishing piece. It resembles pink on black. I think pink on black is a Michael Key hybrid. It pretty much resembles pink on black, and it's something that you all should try to get. Put it on a pedestal pot and it's going to make a lovely statement for you. Roboto Meniscal. I'm actually highlighting this particular plant, this 2011 Acmea from Skotak. It's a plant that a lot of people have, but one of these days I'm going to show you and do a video with regards to Robotos. Not all the Robotos would grow the same, not all plants would grow the same. Sometimes you have the same plant and they grow differently. Not because of the growing conditions that the plant may be exposed to, it's just because of the mother plant or the clone where it came from, right? We have another lovely plant on this pedestal here, showing off all its beauty. It's a Don Vitus hybrid. Now, the Don Vitus hybrid is crossed with multiple different plants. Now, a lot of the times you don't get exactly what the Don Vitus is crossed with, but they produce a lot of massive, beautiful plants, and they always have a predominant pink blush with the red as well. King Cobra. This one is a bit small. It's a 2019 release. It's a very slow grow. So once you have King Cobra, expect it to take some time to grow, but it's a very beautiful plant where the leaves go straight up just like a cobra. This plant could get to 3 feet wide. I'm not going to pull my tape because it's still small, but it gets up to 3 feet wide and it's a pretty stable plant. Another lovely piece from Skotak, Tartan Warrior. This one has some growing again to do. It usually gets to 50 centimeters wide. It's just about 32 centimeters wide. But it gets very, very lovely as well. Take a look at all the other beautiful plants within this area. The green eyes, a lovely, lovely sunset. This is one indeed that you must have in your garden as well. This is one that people still actually go about looking for, sunset. And this is a pretty, pretty big one. So it's about 2 feet wide. Ocean Mist, Cane Fire. An Australian hybrid. Guys, once you hear Australian, once it is you hear a plant is from Australia, from New Zealand, these are rare plants. These are plants that are very difficult to get. So sometimes the price might be, but they are very, very lovely plants as well. And the hybridizers that down here, they do a lot of good jobs with their plants. Take a look at this one. If you like it, buy it twice. This is Knockout. This is a full sun plant. It's underneath 50% shade and it looks pretty, pretty good. You have a lot of coloration at the ends of the leaves. It gets to about 60 centimeters wide. I think that the hybridizer for this particular plant is unknown, but it's a very lovely piece here. This is a pup from the Coimbergia Horsley. This one still needs some color, but it still looks very, very nice with this silver blush. With these Coimbergias, remember guys, you could stock quite a lot of Coimbergias in a compact space because of the upright growth pattern. Some of them would grow a bit cylindrical, some of them, or conical, tubular, some of them would grow a bit wide. So you could have different varieties of them. Don't be afraid to go out and get some of your Coimbergias. We have quite a couple varieties which will be coming in our next shipment. Titania, a 2016 piece from Skotak. I love that this pot that is in. Titania has a very usual, a very lovely, should I say, growth pattern. The leaves would actually curl down. So this particular plant pot is a very, very nice plant to have it in. It's a plant that would be able to show off the beauty of this plant. It gets to 70 centimeters wide. This plant at present is 60 centimeters. It still has a lot of growing. It could get us 3 times as big. This is Jocelyn, another Ray Coolman hybrid. You're going to see Jocelyn popping up in some gardens. It is a plant that could be acclimatized to full sun, but you have to be very, very careful with it. Now, not all particular bromeliads are full sun bromeliads. Some of the bromeliads could take full sun, some of them cannot. You have to know the particular variety you have. Usually the Acmeas will take full sun, some of the news could take full sun, even some of the collectors could take full sun. But you have to play with it and you have to do proper acclimatization. If you go through our videos on Facebook, you would actually see where we did some acclimatization videos so that you could have an idea as to how to go about that particular process. Take a look at this plant. The lovely Ironside Albo. Now you would hear the expression albo marginated, and you'll also hear median. Median is basically the variegated plants. The variegated plants with the green on the outside, and the albumarginated plants are the ones with the white on the outside. So you would see Ironside median. So you would expect to see the green on the outside and the white on the inside. And this is the Ironside albo. Albumarginated, the white would be on the outside. This plant is growing lovely. Very lovely indeed. This plant was purchased last year, and it has a size of about 50 centimeters at present. 50 centimeters, it's about 10 centimeters short as to the true growing potential of that particular plant. Cane Fire X Giant. Again, I'm not going to talk much about this plant. We did a couple of videos with this particular plant. Jelly Roll. A very nice plant. I don't know who is the person who created the Jelly Roll, but it's a very nice plant that has a nice pinkish, orangish blush state once exposed to sun. Fruit Stripe. A 60 centimeter plant, which is reasonably priced. This is a plant that you all should go out and get. It's Skotak hybrid. This is 1 feet wide, but it could get to 2 feet wide. It could get pretty big. So there's the Fruit Stripe variegated, and there's also the Fruit Stripe albo. Try and go out and get one of those. Valentine Day, another full sun plant. This is the first time that I'm seeing Valentine Day with this sort of coloration, with green and the red. Usually, because I would usually see it more in the full sun, but if more in the full sun, you're going to get more a yellowish hue on the plant with the red. It's a very lovely plant. Tidal Wave. A 2022 piece from Skotak. This one is still small, but it's a lovely plant. It's a bit different. Sometimes you would find some of the hybrids would look the same, but this one is definitely different. Such a beautiful plant. So amazing. So amazing. Another Ray Coolman hybrid. This particular hybrid, it loves the fire. It loves sun. So you could try to get one of these particular, and it's pretty stable. It's a pretty stable plant. It loves the sun. Again, I would highlight this. Because of the fertilizer, you would realize that it has what some people would call the leaves getting long and ugly, and they're afraid to fertilize. No. If it is you want the plant to grow, you would have, and you wanted to get its maximum size in a particular required time, it is good to fertilize. But these particular long leaves that you're getting, because this plant gets to about 50 centimeters, and I know that this plant have quite a lot of more leaves to throw out, it's nothing wrong with this. All these leaves, after a while, will dry off because all the old leaves on the bromeliads, as they start to produce new leaves from the center of the cup, and the old leaves dry out, they would fall off, and then you would just have a bigger, more beautiful plant. Let's take a look at the size of this plant. 50 centimeters. So the plant in this situation here has already stretched to its possible maximum size, on paper that is. So that is just another plant with regards to fertilization there. Strike Force. Strike Force, Strike Force, Strike Force. The color on this plant is amazing, and it regularly pops inside the garden. It has a kind of purplish, pinkish hue, and when it's fully colored up, looking at it, it could actually kind of like hurt your eye, I would say. It gets to 90 centimeters wide. It doesn't have the perfect rosette shape, but it's a massive plant. Look at this. The plant is already close to 3 feet wide, close to 90 centimeters wide. This is a very lovely plant. And look, it produces. This is a very nice pop coming off of this particular plant. Hellraiser, another 2020 Skotak piece. This particular plant gets to 60 centimeters wide. It can get to 2 feet. Now, in the early days, if it is you were doing some research on this plant, you would have noticed that on the BSI registry, it would say that the plant would get up to 20 centimeters, but that's not true. Sometimes they change it up after when it is they realize the plant could get even more bigger. So this particular plant could get up to a whooping 2 feet. Red Dog, another Ray Coolman hybrid. You're hearing Ray Coolman. He's a very I mean, he passed away, but he's a very great hybridizer, and he still has some plants in the making that come out. These particular plants, they take sometimes up to 10 to 12 years to produce one hybrid, to produce a stable hybrid. It goes through a process. So there are plants that is in the making for long periods. Kinetic Energy. This Kinetic Energy usually gets to 65 centimeters. It's a medium grower. Just over 2 feet, it's a medium grow. It looks something like Red Mist. It has the same colors ambrosia, and one or two others. But the difference between these particular plants that look the same would be the size of the leaf, how big the size of the leaf get, and also the size of the plant in most instances. Some of them, when they're small, they can't really tell exactly what is what. But Namaskar, a massive growth. This is a very beautiful plant, and I advise folks to get out and try to get your Namaskar. It's usually a reasonably priced plant, and at 2.5 feet wide, you can't go wrong with this particular plant. It could take a measure of sun as well. A lovely Variesia, Milky Way. This is a collector, one of the most popular collector bromeliads that we have in Trinidad. Started to see some more. I see some people have some more in the gardens. They're popping up all over now. So Variesia is another variety of plant that it's good to go out and get. Note that some of them could take the sun, but a lot of them like that filtered sun, right? Chester. Guys, this is Daniel from Gardenscape Design again, and thanks for watching. Join us next week on another episode of My Garden, My Home.